I see Anne is here, hopefully still. Betsy, Sharon, Nancy, Haneke. I think I say your name right. Um, I'm here. So we're gonna have some fun today. All right. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And also, I told my family I'm live streaming. Nobody downloads anything. Nobody is like live streaming video games. It's just this is my time because my last live stream was horrible. So this is me crossing my fingers that today is going to be great. So today we're here to talk about this book. And I actually have Anne to thank for this. So Anne, if you're there, thank you. Anne is one of my students, and she said she wants to learn how to paint like Tom Shepard. I do know Tom. He is a fellow brand ambassador for Daniel Smith. He's a great guy. And I'm a little bit intimidated by this. So I went ahead and bought this book thinking it would be a fun challenge, and it's just fun to look at, first of all. I mean, gosh, it's so colorful. I did swatch out his colors, and they're very bright, fun. And also what's really cool is his Daniel Smith dot card comes with the book. So I did buy this on Amazon. The link is in the description if you want to get it yourself. And oh my gosh, this is a lot of fun. So you can, it says a complete watercolor course for beginners. So this book has so many different, I don't know how many total, but there's quite a bit of options here. And I am on a mission this year. One of my goals is to get a little more colorful with my pet portraits. Nancy, yes, Tom did do a demo on Daniel Smith's Friday Live, and I got to host it, which was really, really fun. So maybe somebody could put the link for that into the chat. But Tom is so cool. He lives in England, and he is a surfer, which you don't really think of like England and surfing, but he is a surfer in England, which is really fun. So here is his dot card. Now this dot card has a limited palette, which I like because it's a little bit less intimidating, you know. This is like totally stuck together. Oh my gosh. All right. And what's really interesting is he has white, titanium white on his dot cards. I'm going to guess that that's for like final details, eye highlights, whatnot. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So thank you everybody for being here. Here are the smooshed dots, like they're like flat from being in the book. So his colors are French ultramarine, which I have the swatch. I'm not going to swatch these out because I already did. French ultramarine, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, phthalo blue green shade, quinacridone red, pyrrole red, this is lavender, new gamboge, aureolin, and cobalt turquoise, which most of those I actually have in this bad boy. Look at this palette. So I just recently put this palette together. I took all my pet portrait colors out of this and I put in some really fun colors for mixing. So this is now my mixing palette for when I teach students how to mix colors. And I'm still learning as well. So here's the colors that he suggests, and I have most of those on here. I have aureole in here. I've got cobalt turquoise. I've got ultramarine, not French ultramarine. I don't have cobalt blue in here. I think I do have Prussian blue. Look at me. I have Prussian blue. I have lavender, just like a little, I pulled these out of another palette and just stuck them on here. So I have lavender. I have this is Quin Rose, but this is Quin Red. I do have Quin Red. And instead of New Gamboge, I'm just going to go ahead and use Hansa Yellow Deep. They're very similar. And yeah, we should be good to go. We have all the colors we need. And honestly, you know, you can sub out whatever colors you have. You're going to get a dot card with it so you can try these out. But I don't know that this is enough paint to depending on how big you're painting. But I don't know if that's enough paint to paint like a whole thing. So let me turn on my heater. I'm sorry I have to turn on my heater. I'm cold. It is still very much winter here in Idaho, and I'm in the attic studio freezing my tush off. So, cobalt turquoise. Yeah, cobalt turquoise is a great color. Okay, I want to talk about this. So, let me do a quick screen share for you guys because I'm going to do screen. All right. So in the front of this book, it gives you a website you can go to get the download of all the line drawings, and you can print them out. So I have them here. I should have printed them a little bigger, but what I ended up doing, because I'm doing this on like a full 11 by 15 sheet, which is like, that's my size. I really like to paint this size or larger. So because these printed out so small, what I ended up doing was I sent the PDF to my phone, and then I just took like a screenshot of the one I wanted. And then I used DaVinci app to trace it onto my paper. If you guys haven't heard of DaVinci, it's called AI art projector, but it's not a projector. It just uses your phone's camera to overlay the image you want to trace so you can look through your phone onto your paper. Anyway, so you get to go download this PDF. How cool is that? So when you buy the book, it gives you the link. Go download it. You've got all your line drawings here, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my desk. I chose to start with the toucan because I just am obsessed with this bird on the cover. I have painted a toucan in my sketchbook before, and it's a lot of fun. And so I decided we're going to do that. So let's dig into it. So I would like to do a really quick flip through before I start. I kind of want to show you what you're going to get when you get this book. It's so colorful. It's really fun. It's got a thing about Tom here, and it's colorful. I can't get enough. Like lately, I've just been wanting color. So it's got an introduction. He talks about materials. He's got his Daniel Smith tubes here. He talks about brushes, palette, paint, paper, masking tape, pencil, sharpener, eraser. Now, the paper he uses is Bao Hong, and he does use the rough. And so I am being extremely brave today, and I am using, can you see the texture, guys? Can you see the texture on this paper? It's insane. I use Fabriano soft press paper. That's my go-to. It's very subtle. This is very rough, and so I'm expecting I'm going to need to use more water and more paint than I usually do. He talks about paint consistency. He talks about drawing, and I'm sure he worked from reference photos, but the reference photos are not in this book, which is throwing me off because I am such a reference photo person. Hold on, I can't see the chat. I'm pulling up the chat again. So French ultramarine and ultramarine, yes, they're different. French ultramarine has a different pigment particle, which makes it look warmer, but they are the same pigment. Yeah, so he goes into like, there's techniques, dry brushing, splattering, wet and wet, dropping in, softening edges. That's a huge technique that I use. Subduing color by adding complementaries. There's a lot of good information in here. He talks about trapping the light, which in my opinion, I call that negative painting, but I've never heard of it being called trapping the light. He talks about eye highlights and how important those are. And then it gets right into your projects. I love the photography in this and the way that they laid it out. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to our toucan. There we are. Oh, I had a bookmark in it this whole time. Ha! So it shows you what colors you're going to be using. For this one, it's Prussian Blue, Quin Red, Aureolin, and French Ultramarine, which we are subbing Ultramarine today. He gives you your outline. If you don't want to go download the PDF and you want to just draw this freehand, you can. There's no, like, go ahead, go for it. So instead of working from a reference photo, you're actually going to be working towards this as your goal. So there you have it. All right, I'm excited. I've got my colors and I've got this little swatch paper here. I'm just gonna swatch them really quick and kind of get an idea of what we're going for. So you'll have to excuse me. I've been a little bit under the weather for about a week and it's still hanging on, but I'm over the worst of it. Prussian blue, Quin red, Aureolin, French ultramarine. So we're working with primaries today. So Aureolin is such a lovely yellow. The paint itself has kind of a gummy texture. Like, you know what I mean when I say gummy. Potter's Pink has it. The cobalt, some of the cobalts have it. Manganese has it. It's like a gummy texture, but it's a lovely yellow. So there's the Aureolin. And next I will do quinacridone red. And Quin red is on my dot card. It is my favorite replacement for like a magenta color. It's a really good primary magenta. I won't get into my theory about color mixing. Sorry, this is not Quin red. I just realized. This is Rose Madder Permanent. That's totally fine. Let's see what I've got here. I'm just going to sub out Quin Rose because they're so similar. Quin Rose. I have Quin red. I don't have it in this palette right in front of me. So they're, they're pretty similar. So that was the Rose Madder Permanent, and this is Quinacridone Rose. And Quin red is so similar. So I'm just going to go with it. And then we've got Ultramarine. I have a hard time telling the difference between ultramarine and French ultramarine because they're so similar, like Nancy pointed out, or Betsy pointed out, sorry. Nancy was talking about cobalt turquoise. And then we've got Prussian blue, which is not a color that I use very often. So those are the colors, minus this one, that we're going to be playing around with today. So we're going to be making some oranges and purples, and I'm so excited about that. The first thing I want to do is, it says to ring in the eye first, block in the eye ring with milky aureolin. Is he mixing white with it? Hold on. Oh, milky just means thick. Okay. All right. So it looks like he is mixing today aureolin and the not the new gamboge, the quinacridone red to make an orange. So we'll play around with that for a second here. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting into beak territory. Look at that. I think I just lost my mind there for a second and grabbed some. Instead of grabbing the yellow, I grabbed the new gamboge, so forgive me. I'm telling you, the nightmare I went through for 15 minutes trying to set up this live stream has like thrown my brain off a little bit, so I apologize. Oh my gosh. It was a nightmare. I ended up having to bypass my streaming software and just go straight. Anyway, it was complex and frustrating, so I should have started earlier. So here, let's try this again. I cheated and grabbed the new gamboge, and I shouldn't have done that. But look at that bright red you can make. You add a little bit of aureolin to a magenta, and you can get a bright red. That's why I prefer using a magenta versus a red. And then if we add a little more yellow, whoops, I almost did it again. There we go. You need more yellow than red. Okay, that's really watery, but that's what we're working with. Okay, how am I going to do this? I got to hold the book, and we're just going to... He said to use a size 3/0, but I'm painting a little bit bigger than I'm assuming he was. So I'm going to use the aureolin to block in the eye Slightly warmed with a touch of quinacridone red. Slightly warmed. So now the trick is to not go too far. So I'm going to show you my mixing right here. So I've got my aureolin with a little bit of quinacridone rose. And I can go a little bit more. That's pretty. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can watch me paint. So we're blocking in the eye ring. And if you guys have watched Tom work, you know he is a fast worker. In the demo he did with Daniel Smith, it was probably a year ago, he did one where it was like a cheetah. And he went so fast, and I was trying to paint along, and I got left in the dust, honestly. So, Lavish Grace Photography. Hey, my friend Ashley is here. If you guys know Opal and Mint, that is Ashley. Maybe she's undercover and I wasn't supposed to say that. Sorry. I'm glad you're here. That's awesome. So, all right. We blocked in the eye ring, and now we are going to swap to a size 1 brush to block in the beak, leaving a highlight of clean white paper in the middle. Add a touch more red to add orange to the shadows. Okay. I'm not following his brush size requirements because I think mine might be bigger than his. I'm just going to grab a size 4 quill. This is a Fumui brush. A lot of people ask about it. It's from the Svetlin Safronlev set. That was a weird sound. Anyway, hold on one second. Okay, that was weird. Let me get a little more color here. I need a lot of paint in order to do this beak. This is the aureolin. It's a beautiful color. So, all right, now we need a little, we're going to warm it up just a little bit. It's kind of hard learning to paint like someone else when you know, you're set in your ways, so to speak. But I welcome the challenge, and I like to get outside the box. I really do. I get so stuck in my ways of doing things, and it's good for our brains to break that pattern once in a while. You know what's weird about aureolin is it gets bubbles in it. Like, how weird is that? It's just an aureolin thing. Potter's Pink does it too. The ones that have that gummier texture. So what I'm trying to do here is just get enough paint. All right. So we're going to do the beak now, and I'm scared for some reason. And we're gonna avoid, that's a lot of water. Hold on. We're gonna avoid the highlight. Are you guys nervous for me? Because, like, I'm trying something new in front of people, which is really weird. Like, I literally did not practice this ahead of time. I was like, I'm going to do this live in front of my friends for whatever reason. So, oh well. Life's too short. All right, we're leaving the highlight. Hopefully it's in the right spot. As someone who is really good at working with reference photos, this is hard because I'm literally having to just follow along with someone else rather than what I'm used to doing. Okay, so he said to take the quinacridone red and drop it in Wet and Wet to add shadows. So I'm just gonna go for it. Like, this is weird to me, but we're just going in and we're adding that red. And hopefully they'll like mix together and it'll end up looking cool. It'll turn orange. I would say so far that this book like is pretty easy to follow along with. I forgot to mention the pencil sketch. I did mine with a 0.7 mechanical pencil. That's what I always sketch with. And I should have lifted the graphite before I started. It's pretty dark. but oh well. Not undercover. That's funny. I don't know. You never know. You never know if somebody's just trying to fly under the radar. All right, now it says, we're going to add more quinacridone red to the mix, strengthen the tone on the beak. Let the color bleed slightly into the yellow, which I'm seeing bleeding. And add a little French ultramarine to the mix for the deeper, warm shadows of the beak. Okay, we're getting crazy now. This brush holds a lot of water and paint. Everybody, I swatch with this brush on Instagram, and people want to know what it is because it looks so fun, and it is. I like this brush, but I will honestly say it's really what you do with it. Like, a brush is just a tool. I always used to buy brushes thinking, this is going to be the brush. This is going to be that one brush that's going to magically make my art level up to the next level, and I'm going to be this amazing artist because of this brush. But at the end of the day, it's about learning to use the brushes that you have and like putting them to work, putting miles on the brushes that you have, not trying to buy the new brush thinking it's going to be the magic brush. Take it from me. Like, I'm not saying that to be facetious. Like, that's how it's been for me over the years, is like just always trying to find that one thing that's going to be, I don't know, the magic touch. I'm kind of weirded out about adding ultramarine to this because, like, I'm going to do it over here. It kind of, what it does is it turns it kind of green. It dulls it down for shadows, I guess. So we're going to drop a little of that. It looks weird to me, but that's what he said to do. Blessed in the Northwest said, you're inspiring me to be brave to try new things too. Thank you. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad. It's scary sometimes, and we just have to realize that we're not here to be perfect. We're here to learn. So I don't know what he means about adding a little French ultramarine to the mix. Does he mean mixing it in that or like dropping it in? Because, yeah, it kind of turned mine green. So, Tom, save us. Tom needs to show up in the chat and save us. Save me from myself. Let's see. What if I mix ultramarine and that and make like a brown? That would be weird. So far, it's just turning green. Oh, well. Okay. Time to figure out what's next. All right. Step 3. Here you go. Once dry, use milky French ultramarine to paint the eye. And I'm sorry if I'm glitching, you guys. I hope I'm not, but if I am, oh well. Says to add French ultramarine and leave a little clean paper highlight the base of the beak and the shadow and the white feathers of the neck. Prevent any hard lines by softening the shadow with a clean, damp brush. So we're going to soften shadow. We're going to use ultramarine to the base of the beak and the shadow. Okay, okay. We're using ultramarine for the white shadows. Cool, I can do that. I'm switching to my tried and true trusty silver black velvet size 12 because it's what I'm used to. All right. Here we go, ultramarine. I'm going to grab one of my smaller little pots here because I feel like the bigger pot is making me get too much paint. So we'll just do this. These are little condiment dishes from Hobby Lobby, and I buy them every time I go there. I buy more because they come in a 5-pack, and they're so awesome for teaching and being able to show my students like the consistency of my paint. So he is saying milky, so I'm going to go ahead and let it be thick. I know for a fact that Tom paints with a lot of pigment, that it's very exciting. So let's go ahead and add it I want to make sure everything else is dry so I don't get bleeding. And I'm going to leave a little white highlight, I suppose. Right there. And probably too thick. And we're adding it here. I don't know if he mentioned if he uses a heat tool or not, if he like dries it between sections, because I'm scared I'm gonna like run into the next area. Yep, okay. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay if things bleed. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so now we've got shadows. He says shadows, feathers. I wish I had a reference photo. I mean, I can look at his final painting to see what we're going for, but it would really help me to have a reference. So now we've got to soften the shadow with a clean, damp brush. I know how to do that. I know how to do that all day long. Softening. This paper is so rough. Like I said before, if you're late, this is Bao Hong. I think it's student grade, I'm not sure. And it's the rough paper. That's what he likes. All right, next step. Swap to the size 1 brush and use a dark creamy mix of Prussian blue with a little Quin red. That's how we're going to make our purple. And we're going to do all the black feathers. Sweet! Oh, you guys, I'm excited. I'm going to set my ultramarine to the side. We're going to do Prussian blue mixed with Quin red. Oh, this is exciting. To make this deep, dark purple. Let's get a lot of that paint because we're going to have to cover like the whole body with this. So anytime that you are painting a large area, you want to make sure to get a big enough puddle for the area you're working in. And I'm going to grab a little bit of that Quin red. I love mixing purples. It's my favorite. And we're kind of making this really deep purple color. Now, one thing that I like to do personally when I'm painting is I like to have my sketchbook or a scrap of paper nearby to test my mixture before I do it on the actual painting. So it's just helpful just in case. You just never know. It's good to just test it really quick. And I kind of like that look on this paper. I'm going to start down here because I know the other stuff is still wet. And I'm going to be okay with some dry brush. I'm trying to be okay with that. This is supposed to be fast and fun and like not tedious. So I'm trying to speed up. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is so out of my league. So we're going all the way up here. And it's probably going to bleed a little bit into the neck. And that's kind of what he wants. So I think my blue around the eye is too dark. Okay. I left white of the paper. Oh, you guys couldn't see that. Sorry. I left the white of the paper, and I'll explain why. If you look at his work, he also does do that. He lets some of the white show through, and I think that's why he likes the rough paper. So, yeah. And I actually recently heard an artist say, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was, Thomas Schaller, maybe? He said that leaving the white, that's how the painting breathes. It needs to be able to breathe, and so it's important to leave white. And I actually really loved that, so I was like, all right, cool. I'm leaving the white of the paper. Okay, that was step 4. Next is step 5. While still wet, make a rich, creamy, dark mix of Prussian blue with a little quinacridone red. So we're going to make like a black. So we're going to add yellow this time. We're going to add aureolin. Use this to develop the shape and tone of the black feathers. Ooh, all right. So same mixture as before. We've got Prussian and we've got quinacridone red making purple. And then when we add yellow, which is complementary to purple, it kind of neutralizes out and will give us a black. I'm just going to do that. Oh, yeah. And if it feels too blue, you can add a little red. Hey, Elizabeth. Thank you, Anne and Sharon. You both are nice. Okay. Maybe we add a little more red. Sometimes to get the right neutral, or if you're going for brown or gray, sometimes you have to add a little of this, a little of that to get it where you want. I think that's good enough. It's like a really deep dark purple, like a neutral. So now we're going to use that to develop the shape and tone of the black feather. So we want to like maybe put it here to kind of give it some dimension. And then maybe like a little in the chest. I think I went too thick with my purple paint initially, but this is an experiment. And when we're experimenting, we just do our best. Okay, I'm gonna hang on to this mix because he's gonna have us do this in step 6, but not yet. So I'm gonna hang on to that mixture. I feel like this live stream's really glitchy and I apologize. I'm not listening to it, but I can see it and it's glitching really bad. So I'm sorry. This is why I don't do live streams, because I'm always glitchy. All right, now we're going to paint the feet with Milky French Ultramarine. Paint the feet. These are the feet. They're blue. The nice thing about my favorite brushes, the silver black velvets, is even though it's a big fat brush, it comes to a really tiny point so that you can do the big details, but you can also you can do like a large wash and get into the little nooks and crannies. No matter how many brushes I buy or how much money I spend on brushes, I always come back to these every time. Yeah, sorry. I know Sharon said she lost the picture for a minute, but hopefully it's back. Okay. Next, we are going to paint the branch. We're going to make brown with Quin Red, Prussian Blue, and Aureolin. So basically the same thing we did before, but with a different consistency. So we're going to make brown now. Brown, we're going to do quinacridone red. So the way that I know how to make brown is first you make orange. You mix red and yellow. You make orange. This aureolin is a little hard to wake up, so give me a second. Yep, so first you make orange and then you lean it towards, you add blue or green. You can do like phthalo green. If I added phthalo green to this right now, it would turn brown. But I'm trying to follow what he says. So we're going to add a little Prussian blue. And it looks like his brown leans a little more reddish. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now we should test it like we did before. This is our branch color. What do you guys think? I think it's good. I was gone for a second and I'm back. Yeah, it's also got a delay, so you guys are a few seconds behind me. And because I'm trying to juggle my book, I actually smudged it, but it's fine. I'm going to take a second and I'm going to dry this so the feet don't blend in to the branch. Drying. I just got this new dryer and I love it. It's so quiet. It's a Ranger. Ranger? Yeah. It's quiet and it's very efficient. Okay. We're painting the branch. All right. Here we go. This is really watery. Oh my gosh. Have you guys ever watched Tom paint? Because these are like really fast. And then he does it like really dark right here and leaves this lighter. Okay. I'm going to drop a little more pigment in because it's really watery. This is fun. It's a lot quicker than my pet portraits, I'll tell you that. Step 4 was... I'm just trying to dry it along this edge so that when I paint this tail feathers, which is next, it doesn't bleed in. He doesn't say to dry it at any point, so let's see here. Yeah, he doesn't talk about a dryer tool or anything. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna call that good. So one of the biggest mistakes I see like new watercolor artists do is when they're doing a painting and they're doing a section next to a section they just did, they don't dry it first and then everything bleeds together and just turns into a big mess. And so I always tell people like dry between each section that you do. But everybody's different. And it also depends how much water you're using. If you're using a crap ton of water like I just did, of course it's going to bleed. So I guess it just depends. Okay, he says to use the mix from step 4, which was the Prussian blue and the Quin red. I don't have that anymore, so I'm going to just do this. I'm going to add a little more of that back in. I'm just going to make it again. Because this was the black. It's fine. We'll just put that for the tail. Oops. You didn't see me just dip into the wrong pot. You saw nothing. This is fun. I don't often work with like a lot of color, so this is just really refreshing. It gets me out of my box and out of my comfort zone. I noticed too though, he left like, look, he left a lot more of the white of the paper on the tail and on the top of the branch. So I need to be more aware of that. So I'm planning on doing 2 of these today. I'm almost done with this one. And next time I'll remember to leave more white. Okay, we are on step... We are on step 7. Woohoo! So use the same dark creamy mix to paint the eye with the tip of the small brush. Make a neutral dark mix of quinacridone red, Prussian blue, and aureolin. So that's his black. And use it with a nearly dry brush to paint the darker parts of the base of the neck. Cool. All right. It's eye time. So I always do the eye first. That's the other thing. You guys know that about me. I do the eye first. So, yeah. Definitely getting outside of our comfort zone. I'm just trying to make this black mixture he talks about. And we're just going to use... All right, here we go. I'm painting the eye. Do you guys want me to zoom in? Hi, Pepper. My daughter's here. Her tag is Reba Plays WHI. And she just had a birthday 1 week ago. She's been 14 for 1 whole week. All right, I'm nervous. This is like, oh, the blue is still wet. All right, we're just going to have to be brave. And we're going to circle around it. There you go. And then we've got like this. This is hard because I am so used to looking at a reference to guide me in what I'm doing. And I'm basically just having to follow Tom's instructions on this. She knows. He's the smart bird painting man. Okay. I cracked myself up. Well, it's something. All right, so number 8. For the finishing touches, use milky French ultramarine on the beak markings, adding the deep, creamy, dark, wet in wet. Okay, all right. I'm just looking at it to decide what the heck we're doing here. We're adding this. That's too black. It's too black. Sorry, I bumped my phone. So he said to do it wet and wet, but I'm kind of cheating. And I'm going to come back in and soften the lines. Okay. I'm wetting the beak. Just a little bit. It was a little wet still. But now I've got to kind of soften this because it's not a perfect shape. And then he said to add beak markings and a line kind of here. I don't know. What do you guys think? There's no doubt it's colorful, but I was thinking I want to add a little darkness to that. And I want to add a little darkness to the underneath. I'm going rogue. I'm a rebel. Just adding that black color to give some shadows on the branch. You guys can't even say what I'm doing. Oh, Pepper, you're getting birthday wishes. She's so funny. She just pops in and out of my live streams just to say hi. Okay, that's what I was doing. I added some of this. This is the black mixture. I added it to the branch to just give it some depth. I know, I'm sorry you couldn't see it. My bad. And I'm going to pull my light to the side for a second. I wonder if it's better without the light. Guys, what do you think? Is it better with the light or without the light? I shall wait for your response. All right. I guess we're doing a background. I'm like nervous about that. We're doing some wet and wet on the beak for depth. Maybe a little here. I'm sorry about my connection that keeps like popping in and out. Okay. Oh my gosh, I painted a toucan. Okay, that looks good. He doesn't say what to do for the background. Oh, he just says, look, it just says now, add a simple background if you wish, using Aureolin with a little Prussian blue. Okay. Don't mind if I do. I'm going to make a background. But first, I'm drying this. There is no way I'm putting in a background with it wet. No. That's not brave. That's just silly. It's like Toucan Sam. I am a child of the 90s. How are you guys today? He looks happy. That's Blessed in the Northwest said he looks happy. Oh, he's so happy. I brought him to life. It's his birthday. Seriously, you guys, we have Starlink and it's supposed to be great, but we also do live out in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we need a new router because we shouldn't be having this many issues. Nancy's glad I'm drying. Me too. It's good to dry. I mean, come on. If you tried to put in a background right now with it wet, it would just turn into a huge mess. Of course, I'm being critical of this because it's mine, but I don't know how I feel about like this. It's kind of, I don't know. Look at his. Yeah. I feel like I should have let the red bleed a little bit more in there. And I can totally add a little more. I'm gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is wet it. Just get it a little wet. Now, when you're doing another wet and wet layer on top of a layer that's dry, you just have to be kind of gentle so you don't wake up the layer that you had. Yeah. And we are going to, I have tainted my quinacridone rose with blue, with the Prussian blue, so I need to clean it really quick. It was like purple. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let it kind of like bleed. Ooh. Just let it kind of, let it do its thing. Huh. Nancy says, don't ask. Okay, I won't. I won't ask. But I'm curious. Maybe that was too much. I don't know. I always tell my students, just stop. Like when you feel like you went too far, just put your hands in the air. Don't do anything else. And I am not taking my own advice. So I'm going to just, hands are in the air. I'm stopping. And I'm going to dry it. When in doubt, dry, dry, dry. I feel like I lost the vibrancy to the beak that he has. So I'm gonna just remember that next time. Next time I think we're gonna do one more if we have time. Let's see. Yeah, we have time. Okay. I do want to make a background. So we're gonna make that lovely green color using a big, huge brush. This is another Fumui from the Svetlin Saffron Live set. I did a video on these. You can go find that. We use a big brush for the background. And we're going to make pretty green color. So we've got Prussian blue. We've got to get a lot of this. So anytime you're doing a background wash, you need to make enough paint that you will be able to do all of it. And then we will add, oh my gosh, I've tainted my water. We will add Aureolin, which actually I kind of want it to be that really pretty lime green. So we might want more yellow than blue. Just look at that right now. It's like totally turquoise. Totally turquoise. We need way more. I will say, the Aureolin is a color I've really only been playing with for like the last couple of months. It doesn't wake up as easily as, say, like I use Nickel Azo Yellow because you barely touch it and you get so much pigment. So that's why I'm struggling right now because I'm not used to the Aureolin. The consistency is quite different. So anytime you're trying a new color, keep in mind it's not just about color. Each color has its own properties. Like some are, like I say, gummier, some are heavier, some have bigger pigment particles, some are more staining. And so there's a lot of things to take into account, not just color. Oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get there at this point. Let's do this. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use some my Hansa Yellow Light. And we're gonna get a bunch of that, and we're gonna put a little bit, just a little bit of that mixture we just made. Maybe just, whoa, just a little to make our green. There we go. Gosh, that was intense. Look at that. Heck yes. I love that. Now, he doesn't put it everywhere. It's like right here on the top of the head, and it's very splashy, loose, fun, kind of wild. It's really hard not to go over the, anytime you're doing a background last, it's hard not to like get it on top of what your subject is. And then he does say to add like variations. I'm going to do that. All right. And then it kind of goes here. We don't want to get it on our subject. I think I picked this because it reminds me of Fruit Loops. The color and the toucan. And he kind of just lets it be wild, maybe a little, it's a little splashy. Come on, come on. And yeah. And then maybe we'll come back here. You know, it's one thing to copy another artist and just kind of follow their lead. And it's a whole other thing to like learn how to make decisions and be equipped to then go ahead and do something on your own and like know how to translate a reference. Those are really important points that I wanted to make. But if you're just looking to paint a bunch of fun stuff and learn how to loosen up, this is fantastic. We're always learning. All right, I like to do this. I like to splatter water. I literally dip my hand in my water and I just splatter it in there because I like the way it looks. So the book is, I think it's currently on sale. I did put the link in the chat if you guys want to go grab the book, and let's support our friend Tom. Um, let's see, where is the linky link? I'll pop it in the chat. So it is in the description. I will pop it in the chat while I'm drying. And then you guys can get it for yourself and see. Come on. There you go. Now, when I do backgrounds, I usually like to let it dry naturally because when you use your heat tool, you're like freezing the granulation, the pigment particles, you're freezing them in place rather than letting them really settle the way that they want to settle into the little grains of the paper. And you can see that as I dried it, the splatters that I made kind of disappeared. So just keep that in mind when using your dryer, that like it's okay to let your background dry naturally. If you're done, just set it aside. So I am going to do that. I'm going to set this aside and I will work on the next one I'm going to do. I have it sketched out and ready to go. So say goodbye to Sam for just a second while we do the other one. So the next one I wanted to do was this blue and gold macaw. And I'm going to try to be faster. I think I want to try to speed up a little bit on this. Let me just tape it down so that we don't have like crazy buckling. This tape I got on Amazon, it's the worst. Don't ask me for the link. It doesn't, like, it's the worst tape. It's just one of those weird off Chinese brands that like has a weird name. And it lets the paint under the tape sometimes. So I don't recommend it, but I'm trying to use it when I don't care as much. I will just use this. The best tape I've found, I don't like the color of it, but it's the contractor's tape, the Scotch brand contractor's tape. Just this. Scotch contractor grade, and it's number 2020. And it's ugly as all get out, but this is the best for taping off your paper. So if you don't care about the color, it's the best. And I buy it on Amazon in a big old 6-pack. So I have enough to last me through the apocalypse. Like I will be painting with tape when everyone else is out of tape. So just saying, don't be jealous. All right. I think, well, I have this water here that's still fresh. I want to show you guys my water. We're going rogue. I'm taking my phone off my holder. This is my holder. It's just a magnet. That's my water. And my desk is a total disaster. Like, hello. It's fine. And then here's my palette, what we're looking at right now. So we're still doing pretty good there. But I think I am just going to continue using the water that I have. And I have this happy little glass of fresh water that we will rely on for this. So this one is called the Blue and Gold Macaw. I lost the book. Oh no. So I just thought it was so pretty. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I think we're going to use cobalt teal. He says cobalt teal blue, not cobalt turquoise. So that'll be interesting. I do have cobalt teal in my palette here. And then just the Quin red, the phthalo blue, green shade, new gamboge, and cobalt blue. Cool. Okay, I'm going to read you what this says. There are quite sharp distinctions between areas of color on a macaw, so be careful to keep them clean. You can avoid them bleeding into one another by allowing adjacent areas to dry whenever possible. There's still lots of opportunity to work wet and wet within each area, so be patient. The fun will come. I'm excited about this. This is so pretty. And I'm going to try to be a little more splashy and loose on this one. So let's do it. I need to grab some clean mixing area really quick. So 1, 2. By the way, these are bread dipping containers from Amazon. I got 10 for, or I got not 10. I got 4 of these for $10, I think. And they're just perfect. They're a little bit bigger than like the stackable watercolor things, but these do stack and I love them. So, I could probably pop a link in the chat really quick for you. They're the best. And the reason I like a mixing area that can move with me is because I teach. That's literally why. It's hard to show people my mixing area when I'm on camera. And so having this is really helpful. So here is the link. I think my view keeps, or my video keeps cutting in and out, and I apologize for that. So the first link that I posted is the book. The next link that I posted is these little mixing things. These are fantastic. I love breaking in a new book. Okay, I've got some more of these so we can make our colors. And we need, my towel is also a little soaked. I think I can just maybe flip it over. Water control is really important. I can't stress that enough to people. Like, I'm always telling my students that it's important to have a good towel. I like to use 100% cotton cloth napkins, the nice ones from like World Market or Home Goods, something good that really soaks water in. And I don't wash them with fabric softener because that kind of makes them repel water. I don't know. It's the little things to me. Like, paper towels are fine. They're fine. They're great. I just found myself spending so much money on paper towels that I couldn't justify it anymore and decided to find an alternative. Okay, we're going to be doing New Gamboge this time, it sounds like. But I am using Hansa Yellow Deep because that is what I have in my palette right now. Yes, Hansa Yellow Deep. And New Gamboge and Hansa Yellow Deep are so similar. They're very similar. So I'm not going to split hairs and worry about that. And then we need our Quinn Red. You know, it's funny. I have my Quinn Red in my other palette, but I feel like the quinacridone rose has been working just fine. It's just a little pinker. So lovely. So lovely. Okay, and then, you know what's funny? I get comments when I do this, when I put my pots on my paper, people get so upset. So different from Sylvia Trad's macaws. Oh my gosh, yes. So Sylvia Trad makes these really hyper-realistic macaws with like feathers, and oh my goodness, they're amazing. If you guys have a chance, look up Sylvia Trad. She's another brand ambassador. She's also a really cool person. We're using Phthalo Blue Green Shade, which I have here. A lot of people are scared of phthalo blue, and I get it. I have been too. I feel like lately I'm like, you know what? It's just paint. It's highly staining paint, but it's paint. And I'm not going to be scared of it anymore. I'm done being scared. I'm just going to clean out a pot really quick. Oops. I love that you guys are hanging out with me today. Give the video a like for me. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe because it actually really helps other people to see my videos. And I really appreciate it. So if you're here hanging out, give me a thumbs up, not because I crave your attention and your approval, but because it helps my channel and you like me and you want to help me, right? So let's see. Last color is cobalt blue. Darn it. I'm going to have to pull out something else. You know what? I'm so funny. I think I do have cobalt. Yep, I've got cobalt blue right here. Silly me. Cobalt blue is such a good neutral road blue. It doesn't lean too cool or warm. It's just a good middle of the road blue, and it has such lovely granulation. You can make gorgeous greens with it. Okay, I've got our colors. I'm going to line them up here. I know that was very time consuming, but yeah, here we go. I'm going to show you my colors together. Oh, they're so pretty. Did you guys have any idea if you liked it with the light or without? I'm going to turn my light back on. I feel like you can see the texture of the paper better, but I don't know if it's helpful. On, off, on. I'm going to leave it on. If you don't like it, maybe just let me know and I'll turn it back off. But I feel like it illuminates things a little bit better. All right. So step one. No, where'd you go? I skipped it. Okay. The cool part is it's just one page spread for each of these birds. So it's not like you have to flip a million pages. It's pretty simple. Most of them, they're in 8 steps. Step 1 is to create a watery mix of New Gamboge and block in the orange-yellow part of the macaw. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be obedient. Today we learn from the master. And it's supposed to be watery, so let me actually tone that down a little bit. Because we want this to look kind of yellow, not orange. And if I do too thick, block in the orange-yellow part of the macaw. His line drawing looks different than mine, which is funny because I traced his drawing in the book. And his yellow looks like, actually, it looks more like the Aureolin than it does the New Gamboge. That's interesting. You guys still here, or did I bore you to tears? Let's see. Okay, so that's done. The next thing is to use watery cobalt teal to paint the blue wing at the top and the macaw's back. Okay, watery cobalt teal it is. I'm gonna go fast. Maybe. And we're leaving a line between. We've got bleeding. We've got bleeding. Okay. Okay. Hello, Alex. Okay, it says add some splatters, then add milky phthalo blue wet and wet to the blue feathers for shadow and shape. Ooh, I get to do some splatters. All right, I'm going crazy. Let's just do it. We're just gonna be wild people now. Oh, he did the splatters down here too. What a wild man. All right, so now we do phthalo blue here. Oh gosh, that is really, really thick. And phthalo blue all along here. And a little bit, maybe that. What do you guys think? That's pretty. Okay, step 2. This is so out of my league. Draw the cobalt teal blue along the back, right here, I'm assuming, and onto the neck and head. Add a little new gamboge to work in the cap on his head, wet and wet. Cool. All right. So cobalt teal. We're going to take that. And this is kind of where I might need to let things dry a little bit. Because we're going to have bleeding. Yep. It's turning green. It's raining outside. I have a tin roof above me and I can hear that it's raining. All right, I'm going to take a second to dry this. Thank you, Alex. It's very bright and fun. Very different from what I'm used to. I think the one thing that makes Tom a good artist is his confidence. Because when you watch him paint, his brush strokes are very just like confident and loose. Like he's not trying to be perfect. He's just trying to have fun. Whereas like this makes me nervous. I don't know. So yeah, confidence is important. So now he said to add a little bit of what? What did he say? New gamboge. Oh my gosh. To the top of the head to make it green. So we're like turning this green by adding yellow, which is really fun. Look at that, it turned yellow. It's magic. Okay. And I am going to zoom in just a bit. Just to add there. And we will, so we did the cap. Step 3. We're going to use cobalt blue to paint the tail, adding touches of cobalt teal and phthalo blue. Okay. All right. I shall do it. I didn't know this was the tail. Did you guys know this was the tail? Let's see. And then he said to add cobalt teal and phthalo here and there for like interest and continuity. And then he said to like let that be wild. So we'll do that. And a little bit of phthalo goes a long way, as you guys know. So we're adding phthalo up here. What do you think? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And now, okay, I have to dry this because the next step is to add orange to the body. So we're drying this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. While I'm drying this, take a gander at, I love looking at these after they start to dry. So that was our mixture of um, Aureolin and Prussian blue. Here's our mixture of Aureolin and quinacridone red with a little touch of ultramarine added. And then this one is the same. This is the Prussian blue and Aureolin. So it's just fun to look at. Come on, little guy. Come on. The main thing I want to dry is this because if I start painting the body right now, this is going to bleed into it. So we need to make sure that's dry. The rest of this doesn't matter. It's going to dry eventually on its own. I'm loving this cauliflower. That's beautiful. To me, that's the magic of watercolor right there. I'm gonna zoom it in. That. I love that. All right. So, my tape's coming off. This paper, oh my gosh, it's so rough. Can you see how rough that is? It's fun though. It's just different. So now we are supposed to make a mixture of New Gamboge and quinacridone red. So we're making like a really fun orange color. And I think I'm going to cheat and use Aussie Red Gold just because I want to. And it's right here in my palette. Look at that. I love Aussie Red Gold, guys. It's so pretty. Um, so now we're going to block in the lower. So basically going to like orange this up. He said the lower side of the body right here. And this is going to be red. And then we're going to take some quinacridone red. Drop it in there. And here. That's cool. Thank you, Alex. I'm going to read her comment. She said, Alex, I hope you're a girl. I have a sister-in-law whose name is Alex. I'm so sorry if you're a boy. Tom's style is so colorful and free. I find it hard as I paint very detailed botanicals mainly. I like where you're getting the colors mixing slightly too. Yeah, that's kind of fun. And it's like I'm always trying to avoid that, but maybe that's where the magic is. Like, holy smokes, how pretty is this? I love that. And we're always trying to avoid it. We're always like, oh, I messed up. I need to fix it. But if we just let the watercolor be, so many magical things happen. Sorry, I have to zoom way out because this is like so big. Okay. So it says to add a touch of cobalt teal to the eye. Okay, it shall be done. Tom's the boss. We do what Tom says. Oh, that's weird. All right. While that's drying, dilute the dark mix from step 6 to a milky consistency. I didn't make a mix in step 6. Did I skip something? Oops, yes I did, sorry. I went like this. I went from step 4 to 7. That's why I'm confused. Calm down. I'll calm down. Okay. I'm calming down and I'm going to 5. 5. Add darker tones in the tail using creamier mixes of all 3 blues. Okay. I'm going to grab a slightly smaller brush, a size 10, and grab a little more. That's phthalo, cobalt teal. So this is kind of our blues mix. That's very, very pretty. And he said to add darker tones. So that's what I'm doing. I hope that's what he wanted. Either way, it'll be pretty. Too perfect. Sometimes you have to mess it up a little bit. Oh, okay. Add finishing darks to the orange parts of the underside of the wing, the throat, and on the feet using a dark creamy mix of Quin Red, New Gamboge, and Cobalt Blue. So we're making kind of a dark, like almost a, I'm going to say almost like a brown. So what I'm going to do is just take my Aussie Red Gold and add a little bit of blue to it. To make maybe a little red. Oh, hello. That's probably, yeah, that's an interesting mud mix I just made, but maybe a little more blue. So we're just adding some darks. The throat and the feet. Oh, now we're doing the feet. Okay. I made mud. Okay. And there's like another foot right here that I accidentally covered. That's fine. And he kind of put some there. Hopefully I'm back for you guys. Sorry if it keeps cutting in and out. Swear. I think the reason I prefer live streams is like I can actually give you guys content and I can see you. I love talking to you guys, but I don't have time right now to edit videos. And so if I only have an hour or two to spend on YouTube, I'd rather just do a live stream and hang out with you guys because I cannot edit a full video in 2 hours. It's so, oh my gosh, you have no idea. Well, some of you have an idea, but I just haven't had time to edit lately. So I was confused. I thought this was the body and this was a wing, but actually this is the underside of a wing and the bird's tilted sideways. So like there's the tail. This is a wing, like the underside of it. Does that make sense? Because I was seeing it differently. So I know that we're doing the beak and the face next. So I'm going to focus on drawing these areas now. If you guys are looking to loosen up, this is a really fun exercise. Okay. It's very important that you start getting paint and smudges on your book straight out of the gate. Okay, now we're doing we're painting the beak with the dark mixture we did before. Okay, it's kind of like a purple. I don't know that I want to use my dark mixture because it looks, well, we'll go for it. Mine's a little more gray than his, but that's okay. Sorry if you heard my dogs barking. One second. You're fine. Okay. Sometimes dogs bark at nothing. Oh, thank you, Hanaki. I appreciate you saying that. Um, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. It means a lot to me. Okay, where are we? It says to create a sense of form by softening the beak like on top of it. So I'm gonna just lift a little bit like that. There, that worked. Lifting is so cool. All right, I think we're on the last step, step 8. Use the same milky mix to paint the markings on the face. Once everything is completely dry, paint the pupil into the eye with the same dark mix. And add a subtle wash to the face. Okay, so we're going to add the details. And we're going to add a pupil and some darks around the eye. And then at the very end, we'll create some shadows and we'll be done. So for that, I'm going to zoom in. Hello, little fella. I'm so used to like hyper realism with eyes that this is like so weird for me. Okay. All right. This is so weird. We're going to do the lines. And these ones here. And then there's like a nostril. We would like this bird to be able to smell, right? And then this is so tiny, a pupil. That's tedious, tedious business. I'm using my little needle tip detail brush, which I like. And I'm going to play around with the beak a little bit to add some dimension. Do I hear my father-in-law downstairs? That could be what the dogs were barking at. Okay. All right. Now we just have to dry that and then add some shadowing. You can see how horrible this tape is right now just by like the way that it's not staying. It's not the best, but you know, it's something. Okay, now we're gonna add like a watery shadow mix and we're gonna add in some shadows on the face. So there, and I think that's what we're going for. And then I'll just zoom out. I think that's it. Okay, I think it's supposed to be done. Let's dry it. All right. One last thing I want to do is this needs to be brighter. It just felt kind of dull. And I think, yeah, I think this whole area that needed to be a little more red. Nancy says she likes the penguins in the book. I'll have to look at those. Penguins are so cute. Okay, it's dry. One thing I need to do is sign it, don't I? I don't know how to sign this rough paper with like my regular fountain pen. Like doesn't do very well, but yeah, I won't write on it. It's too rough. That was cringy. Um, I like to use these Tombow pens. That's better. This is my new signature. And then I put the year because I painted it. All right, tape peel. Not that satisfying because we didn't go up to the edge very often, but at least it can be satisfying-ish. Look, the paint didn't go under the tape this time. That's good. Makes me a liar. Okay, so there's that. Ooh, I like it. That's so fun. And then our toucan is still wet because of the background. See how wet it is still? But I can still sign it. It almost feels like I'd want to like crop this whole bottom part off and frame it that way. I don't know. Where should I sign it? Like right here. Okay. I'm gonna dry it because I want to give you guys a satisfied tape feel. Like you stuck with me for the long haul and you deserve a tape peel. And you put up with all my glitches and my internet issues and me being 15 minutes late. Dry. I should make up a song that I could sing while I dry. All right. I think we're about there. Okay, reveal. These are just old boards that came with an air conditioner that my husband put in for somebody. And they're like MDF painted with like a plastic coating. I will repurpose anything, you guys. I honestly, I would go dumpster diving to repurpose things. I'm not ashamed. So people are often asking me what my boards are, and it's just like like particle board, MDF. And this one is plywood that I bought at the hardware store, and I sealed it with like a deck sealant so that it won't get water damage. But now I just use Gator foam board. So anyway, oh my gosh, let's set both of them side by side. Holy crap, my desk is such a mess. That's what we want, right? A messy studio is a happy studio. All right, let me move my face. Okay, there they are. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Thank you, Anne. I hope that was fun. If you guys have the book and you've done paintings, I would love to see them. You can find my email address in my channel, whatever links. I would love to see it. So anyway, I want to really quick say like what I learned doing this. I think I learned that I'm still too tight. Like, especially when I look at the background on this, I could have just left, like, I could have just been looser. I think it's about confidence. And I think I went a little too intense with this straight out of the gate. I could have like watered that purple down a little bit, but it's kind of hard following along with a book. It just is. Um, I have followed along with Tom's like demos and stuff, and he paints really fast, so you have to kind of like keep up. But that was a lot of fun. It helped me loosen up a little bit. I am obsessed with the wing thing going on there. That's so cool. And I love the colors. So, but you guys haven't seen that much color in my studio like ever. So you're welcome. You have to let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. And also be sure to support Tom and check out his book. He's a pretty awesome guy and he deserves our support. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I'll see you later.